Hi, this is Rick Jorgensen of R. Jorgensen Antiques, and this is Why Buy Antiques. Today I wanted to talk about a little more technical aspect of, in this particular case, Windsor chair making. So the one I want to show you is this third to fourth quarter of the 18th century English fanback Windsor. Turned legs, turned stretchers, uprights, and typical of English Windsors is it has a splat in the back instead of all rods. This is quite a rare chair. These chairs came from a collection that I had at home for about 30 years. Took me 10 years to assemble this set of 6. But as I say, I want to talk about how they made it. At the time that these were made, the most expensive part was the transportation. So the owner of the shop would buy stumpage. He would buy a lot of mature trees while they're standing. And he would move his whole operation out into the woods, which was wagons for places for people to sleep, and they brought their lathe with them, which would have been human or animal powered. And then they would cut the tree down. They would cut the logs into lengths that were the length of the legs or all the structural pieces, and then they would rive them. They would split them so that the grain of the leg goes full length, that the grain doesn't go across, which would then make it weaker. And then they turned it out in the woods. It would be more expensive for the to transport all the trees back to their shop to make it, because 50% of it is waste. So they made all of the pieces above and below the seat out in the woods. Then they transported it back to the shop, and they would cure it for 4 to 6 years, drying it for 4 to 6 years. And that's one of the ways you can tell the age of turnings, is that you can rotate it in your hand and you can feel that it's ovoid. And that will tell you that it was turned while it was green and then aged, dried. So the really clever part of this is that the seat is elm, and you can see the wonderful graining on an elm seat. Now, elm is an interesting wood in that the grain, instead of being parallel, as it is with most woods, with elm, it interlocks. So you can't split it. I mean, if you have an elm tree that you're going to split to make firewood, it won't work, not unless you've got a power splitter, and even then it's very difficult. So they would cut this seat out, and then they would scoop plane it with a draw knife to the right shape, and then they would assemble the chairs while the seat was green. And then as it sat and dried, it would grip all of the pieces that enter it. They didn't have to use glue at all. The seat itself, by drying and shrinking, made the chair. This chair is over 200 years old, and it's rock solid, and there's no glue. Very clever. Thanks.